Now, when we were kids, toys were more than something we just played with. It was something that unlocked our imagination. Now, whether we were replicating something that we saw on television like Bigfoot, or the anime coming on the scene with Voltron and Battle of the Planets and some of the other related toys with that, maybe you wanted to be an astronaut, so you had toys that allowed you to explore the universe. Maybe you wanted to be a secret agent, so you got you some toys that you could go out there and play 007 with your friends. But the one toy that allowed us to go even further into cartoons and even across the world was the Viewmaster. Now, in today's RB Toy Box, we're going to take a look at a little bit of a history that I have here compiled with my Viewmasters and try to have a lot of fun along the way. Stay tuned.
1, 2, 3, go! Step into the magic on my fun-filled stage. RB's Toy Box is great for kids of any age. From Star Trek to A-Team and retro toys too. Come join on my journey, making videos just for you.
Welcome back to RB's Toy Box. As I mentioned, today we're going to get into the Viewmaster. Now, I'm not a Viewmaster expert or anything, but if you were like me, you had a Viewmaster. It was just one of those inexpensive things that you could get for Christmas that allowed you to unlock so many things. And to be honest, this is when I got off of eBay. And matter of fact, a lot of these I got off of eBay or different places. But strangely enough, if you follow the channel, you know that I've had everything that I owned either stolen or destroyed at some particular point in my life 3 times over. And I have a handful of things that somehow missed all of the devastation because they were in storage somewhere, or they're at my parents' house or something like that. These are some of the things that missed that. I have Viewmaster reels here from Scenic USA and Spider-Man and Bugs Bunny and Lookout Mountain, Tennessee and Rock City, and just all points in between that when you look at those pictures through the viewport here, and even when you, I mean, some of the comics that I looked at through a Viewmaster, especially when they got to the 3D, when they started coming out with that one, man, I would just stare for hours into that and just, flip and look and just enjoyed. Now, there were some other ones that came out, obviously, after these that, well, I mean, they go all the way back into these guys down here. And you've probably seen these out there. These are called the Sawyer versions that basically work the exact same way as some of the more plastic, 70s and 80s versions of them. But they were considered stereoscope and allowed you to be able to, see in stereo. With that came the different types of sized viewers and also different types of discs. Now, they still called them stereo viewers, but because of the popularity of one versus another, there were several different versions. Now, this video isn't exclusively about the brand Viewmaster by Gap, but it is more of just different things that you had available to you, including the Sawyers that came out. I love this one here. That is illuminated. It's sealed, so it doesn't, you're not relying on the sun or the light. You have a, here at the top. These are kind of hard to find, and my son actually helped me pick those up at a local place. And then, like I said, there's just different types of viewers that are in that same vintage range, all the way from some into the approaching of the early 50s, the space age, which kind of accounts for, some of the look of the space age looks. But we're going to take a moment and pivot over back into time and kind of look at the predecessors for these. And the predecessors were these little guys right here. Now, I have several different versions of these, but these were called Tru-Vue, Yeah, TRU-VUE. Now, I made a Facebook video on these a while back. And by the way, if you are a follower of RB's Toy Box, thank you so much for being here. By the way, if you go over to Facebook or Instagram and look up RB's Toy Box, just like it is here on the YouTube channel, I have a lot of little bitty shorts and pictures that I showcase throughout, including my shelf shenanigans, which I just, feature different things that I don't necessarily want to make a whole big video on. But these were kind of the predecessors. Now, these are also hard to find, but they're so cool if you can get a hold of them. And I have quite a little extensive collection here with probably about 40 rolls, and I do mean rolls, of film. These came with these guys right here. Let me pull one of these up for us here so you can see it. And they come in these little sleeves, but they're like a little 35mm film roll that you feed in. And then when you feed that in, then you use the slide right here to move it from screen to screen. Now, it's not perfect. You had to kind of, nudge it a little bit to get it to fit perfect, but it still allowed for that stereoscope look. And some of the later ones, they're not 3D, but they kind of figured out if you just reposition the pictures just a little bit, I guess, that it gave more of a little bit of a 3D experience when you look through it. But most of the ones that you get from this vintage, they weren't going and doing television and movies and things of that nature, at least that I've been able to find. Most of them have to do with New York City, Windsor Castle, Death Valley, Rocky Mountain National Park. You get the picture. But these were, again, just a way that you could go out and literally, as a child, see other places that you couldn't naturally go. Now, we were part of something called the Huntsman's Travel Club when I was a kid. My dad liked to camp out in an RV, and so we would go literally every weekend when I was a young man, and we would go to different campgrounds in Kentucky and Tennessee and Ohio and all the points, Indiana, right around that area, basically anywhere that was 4 or 5 hours drive away. And because of that, we got to see a few things like Rock City and Lookout Mountain and a couple of other adventure spots in the Kentucky area that you would go to as a child and kind of see some things. My dad liked to go out and do that kind of stuff. Now let's fast forward over to some of the other types of, when we get into, let me find them up here. So these here started coming out with the talking Viewmaster. Now, why I love these so much is twofold. Number one, well, threefold. Number one is I couldn't afford these, or my parents couldn't afford these when I was a kid. Pretty much only rich kids had these. Number two is that the technology inside of these, this isn't a real speaker. It's not electronic. It uses a diaphragm inside, and the disc up top is literally a Viewmaster reel with a record on the back. That's where it gets its sounds from the timing, almost like the read-alongs that you had when you were a kid with the little record and the little book. So this has literally a record, and then it just uses almost like a copper stick, if you will. It's not a needle, it's not advanced like you would with a record player, just stuck on there, and then it just vibrates this little plastic diaphragm inside so you could hear what the record was playing. So it wasn't big and loud and stereoscopic or anything. It was very scratchy, but it allowed you to be able to follow along and then progress from one to the next. And then there were some other models that came along past this one. By the way, I mentioned 3. The third one is all of the ones that I have, I bought broken. And because the inside of them was so simplistic, They didn't use circuit boards or anything like that. It was just a matter of taking some time, studying it a little bit, and then figuring out how to make it work. Now, a lot of RB's Toy Boxes toys were bought that way, where they didn't function, and I'm not an electrician or a specialist in any way, but I can figure things out pretty good. And I have fixed quite a lot of stuff in my life, from, you know, being basically an automotive master tech all the way down and through. But with that being said, 25 years in the automotive industry, I've learned a few things, and some of that's just how to read a schematic and how to watch the wires and see where they go and kind of figure things out. This one is internally illuminated, just kind of like the other one that we showed there, going all the way back in vintage. Works extremely similar, it just uses a light bulb inside. This one actually also came with the capability of plugging in an earphone, which what's funny is that it's still, you know, it's kind of, well, a little more electronic, but it still uses the same principle. This one, however, is one of their, like, you know, we're going to change the game on this one. Now this one, they went away from these and went with a tall cartridge that slides all the way down inside. So it had a record, and then almost like a big punch card that went all the way down inside. As a matter of fact, let me show you what one of those punch cards looks like here.
It's the Mickey Look, a special new Viewmaster Mickey Mouse viewer with a 3D Mickey story reel.
Wow, Mickey Mouse!
It's so much fun. Everybody's getting the Mickey Look. The Mickey Look from Viewmaster, a new way for your kids to have fun.
From my Knight Rider, I have a couple of these sets, but you can see now they're kind of sealed, but not really. I'm going to show you why. But if you look at it, you know, kind of look like a punch card. And then you have the reel at the top, and then a record down at the bottom, a lot flatter. But this one you would slide down, and then it would engage it, and then the needle would sit inside of there. That's why I said it's sealed, but not really. You can look in that light and see the little window right there. And then same thing up here, there's a little window right here. And this would allow it to grab it and move it. And then, you know, it wasn't automatic, you know. You still had to use the old slide doohickey on the side here, you know, to move it. But this would basically slide down inside there, and that's what made that one work. I don't have batteries in any of these, by the way. Just a tech tip here from RB's Toy Box. If you are like me and you store vintage toys out for display, as much as humanly possible, take the batteries out. I have a battery box that actually my niece gave me for Christmas, and it stores in this red box dozens of every kind of battery that you can think of. So it makes it really easy. And the ones that I use kind of often, I will take, like the C's that are used for this, I'll just take them and set them here. And then if I want to, you know, showcase it to somebody, I'll just go ahead and, you know, grab them, slap them in, show people what it looks like, and then take them back out. You don't want that acid battery damage to mess up, you know, your wonderfully preserved toys. And that's one of the first things, honestly, that's one of the biggest things that people don't take care of. And that's how I was able to acquire a few of the toys that either came installed with batteries, and then you kind of buy it brand new and it basically comes destroyed because it's 40 years old, or it was sitting on somebody's shelf forever and a day. They shipped it to you, it's got the horrible corroded battery in there, and I have a video kind of showing you how to restore that. That's probably about a year or two ago on RB's Toy Box's channel. Now there were some other featured ones in here as well, like, you know, and there's all kinds of these. You got Big Bird, you got Mickey Mouse, you got all kinds of different stuff where it's just a face mask there on front of it. Then I got a cool one I'm going to show you here in a minute, but they've got, this is kind of goes along with the same voice box one, but they changed the cartridge, and they didn't make them easy to get out, but they got one of these kind of things. So the company, as you can probably imagine, over the years tried out different versions of, you know, the same kind of technology, where instead of doing it like this, it's, you know, like this. Same kind of deal, you know, same type of technology that's utilized, just done in a little bit of a different way. Also have the in the box this one down here, which is for Jurassic Park Talking 3D. Now, I went looking for this one because this is the one that I had when I was a kid. They come, when I got them at least, they came in a canister, okay, about like this. Matter of fact, I got one of those. Let me show it to you.
Real movie scenes, real movie sounds too. Talking Viewmaster brings movie magic to you.
This Viewmaster really talks. Pick your favorite movie like The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Pop it in and listen. The Viewmaster scenes talk.
Look out!
Whoa. You get eye-popping 3D scenes so real.
A Stegosaurus.
It's like being in the movie.
Go.
It really talks.
Talking Viewmaster brings movie magic to
Talking
you.
Viewmaster brings you movie scenes that really talk. Other Talking Viewmaster cassettes and batteries sold separately.
This is for the talking one, but it's similar in nature, that they came in canisters like this, and then they'd have the, you know, unit and everything down inside there with a sampling. And many of them were themed, so you could get one that was like a He-Man themed one, and all kinds of different ones that were like that. But this one came in an Americana type kit, and it came with several of the ones that I showed you up here from before that kind of had just America the Beautiful type stuff. I would have got the whole thing in preservation, but I went looking for this one specifically on eBay and grabbed one because of the color scheme, and this is the one that I remember when I was a kid. Now, this is one of the ones that was preserved at my mom and dad's house. My parents gave me this when I was like maybe 5 or 6, maybe 7 years old. And my dad personalized it. And of course, this is a projector. It uses these great big hot bulbs. That, by the way, if you're looking for something that you can do to help preserve these, the LED retrofitted bulbs work in here perfectly. And they still give a really nice look to the picture without it compromising in any way, shape, or form. But I had this when I was a kid. You know, click it over here. It didn't play sounds or anything like that, but I mean, it was a little movie projector. You put it up on the wall, you tuned it right here. It had this right here to make the legs go up and down. So this isn't one that I found on eBay or something. This was one of the very rare preserved. This was one toy that I had when I was a kid, and the actual toy that I had, which is rare, I'm going to be honest. But somehow this made it through all of the whatevers, and I still have it to enjoy today. And like I said, it works perfectly. I upgraded the bulb on it, went inside, made sure that all of the connections and everything were soldered nice and tight so that it's not a fire hazard or anything like that. We're talking about something that's 40 plus years old. You got to look at that kind of stuff. You don't want to start a house fire, just to relive a memory. So I've got that. I also have kind of this newer viewer over here. It's kind of cheesy, battery operated. It does have a 9-volt option plug for it. Mentioned some of the ones down here with the, this kind of card type view. And then we talk about those here. Now let's talk about, you can get in, by the way, and see all kinds. These are still fairly inexpensive if you want to put together a collection like this for yourself. But here's one that I find is of a particular interest. Now, I found this at an antique store in Bartow, Florida. This one, if you look closely at the title there, this is one that somebody basically had a custom Viewmaster created and then had their own reel created, their own Viewmaster reel created that you could see different things that have to do with the clubhouse here at the Persimmon Banquet and Meeting Center. Now here's what I love about this thing. When you look, I would that I could show you on video what this looks like inside, but inside of here is, you know, pictures of people that are, you know, well-to-do, and it's got it's got pictures of people, you know, on their old Motorola brick phones and bag phones, and using like the really like first generation laptops and stuff like that. So it really shows 80s tech really nicely, and it's, I mean, it's crystal clear. I mean, it's not like some of the pictures that you pull up on the internet that look all kind of grainy. These just as crystal clear as the rest of them. So I really thought that was totally cool. Someone who's been in marketing and owned a marketing company, that was fascinating to me to be able to run across that. So I hope you enjoyed my little walk through the different things that I have for my Viewmasters and kind of the Viewmaster history down here, going all the way back with the original Tru-Vue players here. I've got a couple of different types of those. Actually, let me look at this one here real quick. What is this one in here? Oh, more things. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes of those film sets, and then the 2 different types of viewers for the Tru-Vues. But again, just, I mean, a really cool piece of nostalgia that I was really blessed to be able to get a hold of them, and of course try to preserve them for generations to come, because a lot of folks are coming across that stuff and saying it's junk and just throwing it in the trash. If that's you, and you happen to be watching this video, hold on to them. Sell them to collectors that are happy to get them and preserve them on a shelf and keep them clean and keep them working. So I hope you enjoyed our little trip down memory lane here with the Viewmasters. Super excited about all the people that have decided to watch RB's Toy Box. Naturally, this is done out of kind of just a love for collecting, a little bit of showing off for my collection, and I hope that you enjoy what we're trying to bring to the table here. Lots of cool videos still coming up. I've only honestly showcase maybe 30 or 40% of the stuff that I've got here. I want to do some stuff on the different Etch-a-Sketches I have, on different radio units that I've got, vintage cameras, and that's just back here in the retro room. I haven't done a lot of videos in the retro room. Most of them has been out here in the movie room. So I wanted to start showcasing some videos of, you know, my tank that I had when I was a kid, and actually had to repurpose and find this and rebuild it. Of course, we did a video here recently on some video game stuff and just some stuff that I've got here back in the retro room. So you stay tuned here to RB's Toy Box, and for my collecting friends that are out there, hey, stay collecting, and we'll see you soon.
Step into the magic on my fun-filled stage. RB's Toy Box is great for kids of any age. From Star Trek to 18 and retro toys too. Come join on my journey making videos.